Welcome back, my friends. How's everybody doing? So, today we're going to be before we get into today's discussion, we'll be discussing Final Fantasy VII's latest updates. Well, Hamaguchi's interview with Jason Schreier from Bloomberg. Hold on, I'm going to turn this thing on. So, the latest news that we got, and I'm going to switch over here. And then I'll read this to you guys. So, FS7 Rebirth Hamaguchi, new interview with Bloomberg Major reveals about part three. Wutai will be a major location. The game will probably start at Icicle Inn. Rocket Town is in the game. Flying the Highwind is a big part of the third game. We may go into space. Ooh, that's interesting. And there is a new location, new element to Chocobos from part three that's different than Rebirth. Hopes to reveal more information soon. And then we're going to dive right into this. But let me thank Aji always for providing the information. And let's get into this. Final Fantasy VII Remake director teases trilogy's finale. I'm hoping it's not going to be too far into the future. Not Hamaguchi tells us. We all been discussing that, but no need to get into that. Video game developers often don't get the rockstar treatment, but now Koei Hamaguchi, the director of what might be the most audacious remake in entertainment history, spent January evening in New York signing autographs and taking pictures with fans to meet one of Final Fantasy's rising stars. Certainly true. Hamaguchi, 44, leads the Square Enix Holdings Company development team, remaking the development PlayStation Classic FF7, which came out in 1997. The remake, first announced in 2015, was so ambitious it has required three parts, three entire games to tell its whole story. Okay, let's move on to the other stuff. In late January, fans lined up to meet with him at Nintendo World Store and Rockefeller Center for the celebration of the Switch 2 port of FF7R. They were undoubtedly craving more information about this third installment. Normally, there wouldn't be much mystery behind a video game remake, but Hamaguchi and his team expanded and reshaped key aspects of the original game story. Shout out to your Sevi Webs and whoever else keeps going on this crusade that they are destroying Final Fantasy VII. Anyway, by the end of the FF7 rebirth, there are even multiple timelines involved, leaving big questions about what might arrive in the third and final act. In many ways, FF7R's trilogy is less of a remake, more like a set of three new games that were heavily inspired by the original. Yeah, you know what? That is true. I mean, the remakes have been like 90, I mean, I would say 80 to 90% faithful to the original, besides the whispers and then what Sephiroth's got cooking up, Arab's knowledge of the future, which has been taken from her or sealed from her from the whisper battle. But anyway, yeah, I mean, still faithful, but with the shifting and the new elements, they do feel like three new set of games, and they are heavily inspired by the original, which is faithful. to the original. The day after the Nintendo event, I met with Gucci for a lengthy interview about his career and much more, and some teases for what's coming up. Square Enix has not given Part 3 a title, said when it'll be out. I'm hoping it's not going to be too far into the future, Hamaguchi told me. But it is expected to reveal this year. So, expected this year. And let me get a shout out to. And let me get a shout out to Bell Martin. Thank you for the shout out. Bell, on my design logos on my stream. Thank you. All right, let's get back into it. All right, let's get back into it. Hamaguchi hinted that the third game will bring in new gameplay elements that weren't in the first two. We didn't want three installments to be reskinning the same game over and over again, speaking through an interpreter. We want to make sure we're expanding every installment in terms of scale as well as retaining that freshness as you go into each installment. He added that his team already has a foundation of gameplay in place is fine tuning and polishing the game in preparation for release. So it makes me wonder what new thing have they scaled up? I mean, is it the triple of full synergies that we got in in one of the final battles of Rebirth against Genova Lifeklinger? Or is it something else new? Are they adding more action elements? Who knows? Or maybe some new features like material loadouts. They got something cooking up their sleeves. That's good. That's my feeling on that. Back in 2023, Hamaguchi told me that one of the secrets to Reaver's success was staff retention. We'll get into that in a second, which is also the case for this third entry. I'd say the number is closer to 95% of the Rebirth staff stayed on for the third project, he said. Yo, that is cool. That Square Enix has been notoriously known for disbanding their dev teams after they finish a major project, especially FF7. And I also think Final Fantasy 16 was subjected to this as well. I'm not sure, but retaining your staff allows you to create a game faster and get it out there. That's why Rebirth was out in like three years, and I'm here for it, man. Real, I'm here for it. So I suspect Part 3 is going to be out in 2027. That's why the reveal for the game's release date or whatever is going to be this year. So what about Pacifics? We are saving some details for the proper reveal, but I did convince Hamaguchi to let me ask some rapid fire questions about what will or won't make it from the FF7 been been original FF7 into the third part of the remake. How much given they changed for the last one? Will Rocket Town be in the game? Yes, this is one of the elements we had to switch around for Rebirth. Yes. So I feel like we're gonna get the whole Town storyline, except for Sid's introduction, but we'll see his relationship with Shira, which is not particularly good, I will say, in the original, because he was yelling at her and whatnot and commanding her to do this and that. It was not a very healthy relationship, in the very least. And then, this is where the concept, you know what? Nah, I'll save it that for later. But Wutai, it's one of the main locations. Yuffie made a very prominent appearance, stating her case about her homeland. So if Wutai is not featured, I think fans are going to yell at me. They would, but I think some fans. Who am I kidding? Some fans would be understanding, still disappointed, but there will be some that will go, "Why did you leave Wutai out?" But nah, they've been building up Wutai since part one, and with the SR and Wutai declaring war on Shinra, Wutai is going to be one of the main areas of FF73. And also, you can visit Wutai in part in disc three of the original game. So it doesn't matter really when you visit Wutai. But I can understand them saving this in Wutai for part three. And it's going to be crazy if it's still going to incorporate the original storyline with Yuffie stealing the materia, and then they're hunting her down, the party, and the Turks get involved. But I think it's going to be a much more than that. We could see elements of that still, but at the same time, I'm also interested in how expansive Wutai is going to be. Will the Highland let you fly anywhere? We want to expand on the gameplay experience. Flying the Highland is a very large part of the third installment. I'll leave it at that. So they have emphasized the Highland is going to be extremely important in part three because that's how we get around. And this two and three, that's how you got around the world. And that was that pivotal airship moment at, after the meteor fell. So that's exciting. I'm wondering how that's going to work fully because we did get some of that in with the tiny Bronco go in Rebirth. Chocobo breeding. I can't say yay or nay on actual breeding, but there is an element in the bird part involving chocobos that is a little different than Rebirth. Chocobo breeding, it was cool, but at the same time, I have a love and hate relationship because I had to do so much to like get the gold chuckable and whatnot, but it was worth it in the end because you know what? I would miss it if it wasn't in part three. So we'll see how that plays out, but I hope there is chuckable breeding. They have to have that. Will we go to space? I'll keep that a secret, but considering Rocket Town, it is a yes. Yeah. Yo, hold on. That's one I want to emphasize. So we might go into space for real, man. That is dope. That is so dope. And I'm hoping, Ben, that is the case, man. Val, I'll when I get a break, I'll add you. Sorry, I'm in the middle of discussing this. This. But yeah, man, I'm a if now I wonder if there's going to be a whole segment of space and whatnot, but we'll see what happens, man. I'm pretty stoked about that. Besides the new gameplay elements, especially in combat. And then what else we got? Will we go underwater? It's an interesting question because Motoyu Toriyama handled the summary portion of the game, so perhaps he has injected himself into there. I'll leave it at that. So that's quite a possibility we're going to be going in underwater, which is even more exciting. I mean, can you imagine how beautiful that's going to be and how excellent that's going to be that we can explore the underwater world? I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest with y'all. And finally, will the gray glacier area be as big as it is in the original game. Because it is a major element in the game, I won't go into details, but considering towards the end of Rebirth, we are in the Forgotten City, and in the original, you would go into Icicle Inn from there. I guess that hints how the third installment will begin. I hope players look forward to it. All right, and that's the end of that article. We'll discuss that piece and then we'll get into FF10. So that's that's what I think FF7 Part 3 is going to start. Icicle Inn is going to be even more significant because that's where we learn about Era's past with her family, Dr. Gast and Ethalna, and we also find out how to get in the clutches of that damn Hojo. I hate Hojo. But Icicle Inn, as far as expanding beyond that, I'm interested in how that's going to play into the rest of the Great Glacier area. Are they going to add a town or two, or is it just going to be what it was in the original, except expanded? So it's pretty dope. That's going to be a good segment to start out with. And if Nibelheim and Calm is any indication, that's where we're probably going to start off in the past with Aerith, I feel. But maybe we'll get some Sephiroth stuff too, because they have been building that up more and more. But yeah, that's it for the interview, and lots of exciting stuff for part three. I can't wait, man. I feel like it's going to be such a good year for FF7. Besides Remake, Rebirth being on Switch 2 and Xbox, it's an exciting time, and I think we are going to get that reveal trailer at Summer Games Fest, or Square Enix would have a special event. But that's it for that. For the next segment, I'm going to take a break as usual, do something real quick, and then we'll get into FF10.